On a stormy night, Emma thought the Last Stop Motel was her only refuge. But some rooms don't offer shelter, they wait for their next victim. It was 2 a.m., the sky was covered with thick clouds, and the rain had grown heavier. Emma's car was staggering down the highway. She was returning to New York from North Carolina. When Emma turned on the radio, there was only static noise, and the rain hit the windshield so hard that seeing the road ahead had become nearly impossible. "Oh God, just let me find a motel," she said to herself. The fuel gauge was dangerously low. Her phone had no signal. A short distance ahead, a board appeared, its dim neon lights flickering. It read, "Last Stop Motel." Emma breathed a sigh of relief, thankful she had found a place to spend the night, and turned her car toward the motel. It was an old, small place, but in this weather, it felt like a blessing. The paint on the motel walls had peeled away because of the rain. A broken sign read, "Check in at office." Before entering the office, she rang the bell. Behind the counter sat a thin man. His eyes had a strange gleam, and his smile looked forced. "Need a room?" he asked in a heavy tone. "Yes, for one night," Emma said, brushing off her jacket. Emma asked for room. "No, 10, because it was her lucky number. We only have 6 rooms," he replied. He slid the key forward. End of the hall. Emma took the key and left. But when she looked back, the man was no longer smiling. He was staring at her with empty eyes. She opened the door with the key and saw that the room was small but clean. A bed, an old TV, and raindrops tapping on the window. Emma threw her bag down and lay on the bed. She was exhausted and wanted to sleep as soon as possible. After lying down for only a while, she felt as if someone was speaking. Startled, she sat up and looked around, but no one was there. She lay back down again. Then she heard it once more. Whispers. Soft whispers from the other side of the wall, as if someone was sitting very close, talking. She pressed her ear to the wall. The voice was clear. "You shouldn't have come here." Emma's heart skipped a beat. She pulled back from the wall. The voice was gone. Now, only the dripping of the rain and the faint hum of a flickering neon sign could be heard. Maybe it's just my imagination. She comforted herself and pulled out her phone. Still, no service. Fear was keeping her awake. To pass the time, she turned on the TV. The screen filled with snowy static. No channel, no signal. Annoyed, she turned it off. Lying on the bed, her eyes fell on the ceiling. The paint had peeled, and a circular stain spread across the middle. It didn't look like water was seeping, it looked like something else. She turned on her side. Then came the whisper again, this time closer, right by her ear. "Emma." She shot up. The room was empty. Her breath quickened. A soft knock at the door. 3 times. Emma froze. Then, gathering courage, she opened the door. The corridor was deserted. Long lights flickered on, off. At the far end, she could see the counter, but no one was there. Suddenly, her eyes caught room No. 5. Its door was half open. Inside was darkness, but she thought she saw someone standing there. Shadow. Emma gathered courage and called softly, "Hello, anyone there?" The shadow shifted, as if turning to look at her. Then the door shut by itself. She rushed back into her room and locked the door. Sitting on the bed, a question echoed in her heart. Is someone else here? Or am I alone? Suddenly, the table lamp went out. The TV turned on by itself, but this time, not static. The screen showed a scene. Room No. 6, the very room Emma was in. The same bed, the same window, but on the bed lay someone else. A woman. Her long hair covered her face, and her hands were drenched in blood. Terrified, Emma grabbed the remote and switched off the TV. But, when she turned toward the bed, fresh bloodstains marked the sheets. Her hands trembled. She quickly pulled at the sheet. The blood vanished. Only the old white sheet remained, stained with faint yellow marks. I'm going crazy, she whispered. But deep inside, she knew it wasn't her imagination. Emma stepped out into the corridor. The lights flickered faintly. The door of room No. 5 was shut. Hesitantly, she tried the handle. It was locked. At the far end, she saw the reception. The same thin man sat there, as if he had never moved. Emma walked up. "Excuse me, are there any other guests staying here?" she asked softly. The man slowly raised his head. His eyes were bloodshot, as if he hadn't slept in days. "No, you're alone, but I saw someone." He smiled a broken smile. "Everyone sees something here." Emma's heart pounded. "What do you mean?" He leaned forward and said, "Room 6. That's the last room. No one has ever come out of it." Emma stepped back. "This is nonsense." The man only shrugged and said nothing more, staring at her strangely. Emma decided to leave, to get her car and continue her journey. She hurried back to grab her bag. Every door seemed to watch her now. From under the door of room No. 3, a dim light flickered. She bent down to peek. Inside, on the floor, an old tape recorder played. A trembling woman's voice came out. "Don't lock me here. Please, please." Shivers ran through Emma's body. She tried to step back, but suddenly, room No. 3's door swung open. Darkness, only the tape recorder on the floor. Emma pushed the door open with trembling hands and stepped inside. As she bent down, the recorder stopped. On the walls hung old pictures, faces of men, women, children, all eyes staring directly at Emma. In one picture she saw herself, wearing the same clothes she had on now. Emma's breath stopped. She turned to leave, but the door slammed shut behind her. A whisper echoed, "Welcome to the last stop." The room plunged into darkness. Emma desperately tried to open the door, but the handle was locked from outside. "Hello? Somebody, get me out," she screamed. The pictures on the walls began to move. Slowly, their faces curled into smiles as if pleased with her helplessness. In one corner of the floor, Emma noticed a wooden hatch. She ran to it and yanked it open with shaking hands. A stairway descended into darkness, and a cold wind blew upward. She quickly went down, hoping it might lead outside. The narrow passage smelled foul, its damp walls closing in. At the end was a large hall-like room. Old beds lay scattered. Chains hung from each, as if prisoners had once been bound here. Beside one bed was a small TV. On its screen played a video of a young girl in chains, screaming and begging for help. Emma felt her strength leaving her body. She prayed desperately to escape. As she looked around for a way out, a voice came from behind. "Room 6 is always hungry." Emma turned. Behind her stood the same receptionist, but now his eyes were completely black, his face void of expression. "What is this?" Emma asked, her voice trembling. He didn't answer. Instead, he stepped closer. When he was near enough, he spoke. "This motel is a trap. Whoever stays here never leaves again. They become part of the walls." Emma backed away. "Who are you? What do you want?" He smiled. "Me. I was once like you. I came here to stay for the night. Now, like the others, I hunt. Just as I was once hunted." Emma ran, searching desperately, but found no way out. Whispers rose from the walls. First one, then many, then dozens of voices. "Now you are ours. Room 6 cannot remain empty. It is hungry." Emma pressed against the wall, her heart trembling. Suddenly, she saw a door. She ran toward it. As she neared, the door slowly opened by itself. Inside, darkness breathed. She realized it was room 6. Her bag still lay there. On the reception's old register book, a fresh entry was written, "Emma Parker, room 6." Below it, a blank space. "For the next traveler." Tears welled in Emma's eyes. There was no escape. She had lost. She knew. Her next step would seal her fate. The door slammed shut. The room was dimly lit by a single hanging bulb. Bloodstains marked the floor. On the walls, scratches of fingernails, marks of desperate struggle. In the corner, a chair. On it sat a woman, hair disheveled, hands bound in chains, her face hidden behind her hair. Emma stammered in a trembling voice, "Who are you? Please, let me go." The woman slowly raised her head. Her eyes were empty, and she spoke, "I was once in your place too." Emma stepped back. The woman's voice grew heavy, harsh. "This room is alive. It feeds on us, our souls, our bodies, all absorbed into the walls." Suddenly, the bulb went out. Darkness swallowed the room. From the walls, dozens of hands stretched toward Emma, cold, lifeless hands. She screamed and tried to run for the door, but it had vanished. Only a wall remained. From behind, the receptionist's voice echoed, "You chose room 6 yourself. Now you will stay here forever." Emma's scream vanished into the darkness. The next morning, cars drove along the highway, but no one saw the motel, as if it had never been there. Only an old, empty ground, and weathered graves buried in the earth.